What is up? Welcome to episode 2 of The Talking Place. By now, if everything is going according to plan, the show is now on iTunes and it should be going out everywhere else. I know I got emails from TuneIn and from Google Podcast, for Google Play and all that stuff. I submitted to Spotify, all the big stuff. Stitcher. I heard Aries downloaded a show earlier from Stitcher, so it's working. That's good. Everything should be falling into place for in the next few days for the show and where it's going to be and all that stuff. I am currently going crazy trying to get everything situated on the site, on the blog. I was going to keep it separate. I was going to keep it, the Podbean site for the show. I was going to keep it separate from themanthechefthedad.com, but I am going to wind up mending the two together. So at some point in the future, you'll have to go to my blog in order to see the show notes and all that stuff. I'm not sure how it's going to work. I'm not sure if there's going to be some sort of, Podbean presence. I don't know how it works after you link it, after you link your own domain to the show or whatever. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And it'll go however it goes, because that's how it goes. So, oh man, I'm so bad. I'm terrible. So if you haven't done so yet, you could follow on Twitter. That is set up already. It is The Talking Place. Straight up. No spaces or underlines or whatever like that. Just The Talking Place on Twitter. If you want to email, it is talkingplacepod@gmail.com. And that's unfortunate. I couldn't get The Talking Place at gmail.com, but whatever. Yeah, if you wanna hit me up on Twitter, if you want to follow updates for the show or whatever, that's what Twitter is for. If you want to get on the show or you want to, have feedback about anything or whatever, then you go with the email for that. Other than that, I think that's housekeeping for this week. The main thing was getting it out there, getting on iTunes, doing all the setup for all the other, feeds out there for whatever else. So if you have some place where you listen to podcasts that this show is not on, let me know. I'll see if I could throw it up there and see how that goes. But if you do use iTunes, I would appreciate it if you did little rate and review, the 5-star thing and all that. I hear it helps. Everybody says it helps. So, it's a matter of getting the show up on the charts and all that stuff. So I guess that's how they sort it. If you get a lot of reviews and a lot of good ratings, then I guess that, puts up a flag like, hey, look at me, So, I would appreciate it very much if you did that. But if you don't, that's fine. Whatever. As far as this show goes, it was very fun. It is Smoking Meats with Matt and Beardy. I'm going to try really hard to not use that as the title. I'm probably going to fail miserably, and you're probably going to look down at your player and you're going to see Smoking Meats with Matt and Beardy. I'm sorry, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Smoking Meats, and this was recorded back in August. And it was fun to talk with these two about what they love to do. And, when they're not gaming, when they're not, I almost said on their own podcast, but, Beardy doesn't have a podcast anymore, does he? So when Matt is on his podcast, it's all about gaming and all that stuff. And, everybody knows Beardy is big into gaming as well. But, on the sidelines, they know how to work a good smoker, and they do good stuff. They do really good stuff, from what they show and from what they, have on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. So if you don't know anything else about them other than what you hear on this show, then that's good. That's fine too, because they really know how to do their stuff, basically. So it was really fun talking with Beardy and Matt. It was a blast, getting down and dirty, smoking meats, talking about all the different things that they like to do. They were giving their tips on what flavor chips to use. And, if you're new to smoking, they were giving you some tips there. There's a few recipes, smoked mac and cheese recipe, and Beardy goes through a smoked chili cheese dip recipe. There's a lot of stuff that we talk about. We talk about, their go-to meal, when they're trying to impress somebody. And it's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good talk. Be sure to try and eat something before you listen, or while you're listening. And I'm sorry if you're eating like a bowl of cereal or something, because you're going to want something, more meaty, I think, after listening to this. It is one of those shows that definitely gets your appetite going. So I hope you enjoy it from that perspective. Check out the show notes. There's going to be a few links, pointing to the things that they were talking about, the various stuff that you could check out and buy and all that. Also, give them a follow. Check them out on whatever links I have there, for them in the show notes. I know Beardy is on Twitter, as is Matt. And I'll also put the link to Matt's main podcast, Bad Fodder Figures, and you could go check them out. That is a gaming-centric podcast, so they're real good over there, doing their show every week. So very entertaining bunch of dudes. So go check them out. As for this show, hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy me talking about the lingering table, which is the name that I was going to go with, for the show, before I settled on the talking place. The problem with the lingering table, Beardy told me it was a problem, because it didn't sound very, very positive, like a positive thing. It's pretty annoying when you think about it. Also, lingering kind of, I don't know. It kind of has like a bad vibe to it for me. So I steered away from it, and here I am. I think there was a few other names that got the axe, but I'll go over those another time. As for now, I hope you enjoy episode 2 of The Talking Place, and let me know if you do enjoy it. Let me know on Twitter. Let me know in an email. Let me know anything. And have a good week.
Beardy with the temptations there with the damn electric smoker there from Amazon.
Dude, it's right there. And the thing is, I looked, there's other ones that have like better or as good reviews that are $150 or less.
Wow.
Like mine's $200 because it's a master built, and I like mine a lot, but I know for damn sure there's ones with like just as good of reviews for less money. Because I think when I actually bought mine, it was like $175. It's not sold through Amazon anymore.
Yeah, I want to say last February, I think Lowe's had it for like $184 or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I should have bought it. My wife kept me, go buy it, just go buy it. No, it was back in December. It was back in December time. It was on sale. And she said, just buy the damn thing. You know you want it. I was like, I don't know. And then the weather got nice, and so I was like, well, I can still use my real smoker. If the weather would have gone to shit, I probably would have bought it. I really would have, because I could have put it right outside the garage air. Yeah, set it and forget it type of thing.
That's exactly what my boss does. He puts it right outside his garage. He just pops open the garage, checks to see if it's still smoking.
Yep.
And then closes it and goes back inside.
I had the same thoughts of doing that myself. Go in, put it right outside the garage, wrap the blankets around it, and let it go. I've got a Thermo Pro Bluetooth thermometer thingy, with the two prongs. So, which is essential. That is essential to have one of those because you can't trust your thermometer on your grill a lot of times. So buying a nice, good electric thermometer is important. Do you have a Thermopen, Beardy?
I don't have the Thermopen. I have whatever's on Amazon. They have like 50 of them that look like the same thing as the orange one with the two prongs. It's like $60. Get yourself one of those. You will be so happy you did.
Yeah, I've been wanting a Thermopen. I see them go on sale every once in a while. I should bite the bullet, get one. Okay, sorry, folks.
Talking to me.
No, I'm recording. You guys are giving me like post-show talks.
B film, right? Is that what they call it?
That's the B-side. B-side. All right. What I want to do is, first off, we are currently, let's say, to get the things going here, to start the conversation. I want to try and throw this out there. Let's say we just had dinner. We're here. We're having dinner. What is it that we had?
That depends on the mood. I mean,
so let's say we are all in the same city and I said, okay, guys, what do you want to go out to have dinner to talk and have a podcast and do all that stuff?
So if it was me, if you guys came to Cincinnati, I'd be like, okay, we're going to Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse. Very
Nice.
High-end steakhouse, fancy smancy type of place. Very expensive, unfortunately. But, I'll take care of the bill. All right?
But
it would be a perfect place for us to sit around. They have an outdoor patio also where we get to smoke cigars, pour our cognac or bourbon around in a glass, munch on steaks, wonderful bread. Oh, it's appetizers. Good. That would be where we would be going here.
All right. That wins. That's
good.
That sounds good to me, especially if you're paying. So
that doesn't happen much.
So in order not to blow up Matt's Quicken, I'm gonna have to go a little different on where we're gonna go out around here. There's actually, and this might segue later, a really solid barbecue joint that just opened in the downtown near me, and they just opened up a brew pub next door where you can bring the beers over and have a shared patio. So it's two restaurants. Like the brew place actually is the landlord for the barbecue joint. And so they can actually go back and forth now on this shared patio. So it's like picnic tables. So it's real low key. They usually play like pretty good music, like inside, like old, like Zeppelin and kind of like 70s rock. But if that's not your thing, you can get a little bit of distance from it and go outside. So here right now, the weather's good enough. On evening like tonight, it's a good night. Sit outside, enjoy the weather.
I love it.
Yep. See, that's why I picked you two, because you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right. So since that's what we're talking about, let's keep it going. I wanted to do a show where we were talking about the things that you guys like to do, and you guys primarily you like to smoke your meats. You like to take your time and get deep in there and do you like to take your meats and you like to caress them and give them love that they deserve. So that's what I wanted to get into. It's something that I don't do, which I wish I did, but I just haven't I guess time and the proper hardware that I don't have. It's something that it's stopping me. And then there's that one time that I almost burned down the neighborhood. And that's,
I love that story. The whole night was just awesome.
So, yeah, real quick, I guess, for those who don't know, since this is a totally different show. Yeah, I had just got one of those chimney starters for my charcoal grill, and it was like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and the wife was like, "Hey, why don't you go grill some chicken for dinner?" And my dumb ass was like, "Sure." So So I went and I got it going, and it's crazy windy out, and I'm like, okay, let me see if this works. And it turns out the chimney worked beautifully, and to the point where there was a blaze going and it was uncontrollable. And the wind was making it 1,000 times worse, blowing hot embers all over the grass and the bushes and everywhere. And I was like panicking. And Beardy here, Beardy was my go-to call, and he didn't give a he didn't care about nothing.
Okay.
So,
now that is entirely incorrect. I had people over and I was entertaining actually after smoking the meats. And I get a call from like, hey, so what are you doing? I'm like, God, hey man, just having some people over. He's like, yeah, so fire over. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, call 911. Why am I your lifeline here? I'm like, all right, you're outside. Okay. And so he explained like the whole chimney's going up. I'm like, you have a hose down your yard so it doesn't catch on fire right away. Cause from what I remember from my summers in Florida, it's essentially you're sitting on a pile of timber at all times, just ready to go up at any second. Like, hose it down so you don't light your neighbor's yard on fire.
Usually a nice thing to do.
oh man. Yeah, it was fun. And that it turns out that was the last time that I barbecued. So,
oh wow.
I've used the gas grill, but not the charcoal. Yeah. So we're here with you two. I totally skipped introductions, so forgive me. Like I said, this is coming from a long summer of not doing anything like this. So what, who do we have here? We have Beardy. Go ahead, Mr. McWhiskey. So
I'm Beardy McWhiskey. That's all you need to know.
Introduce yourself. Give a little something if you want.
Former co-host of the Future Monkeys podcast, video game enthusiast, and big fan of meat smoking. Yeah, that's really not. I also enjoy a whiskey or two from now and again.
I would certainly hope so.
Especially with that name.
Yeah. All right. And the other lovely voice is devious Mr. Matt.
Yeah, from Bad Fodder Figures. Nice, lovely little podcast with myself, Captain Mike M, and Eric Glover, Glovebox, and sometimes Jeremy, Ruiner 2 is on there. But I like Beardy, like my grill, like smoking my meats. I also like smoking my cigars and drinking my bourbons and drinking my beers and being lazy on Sunday afternoons, sitting in the backyard, listening to the Reds games and cooking and smoking and everything else that comes with that on a Sunday afternoon. Make a whole day out of it. Make a whole day out of it.
Heck yeah. So let's talk about those days. What do we like doing? I mean, I've talked with Beardy about this before, like lightly touched on it. But when you guys is it electric, gas smokers? What is it that you guys have?
I have a charcoal smoker, charcoal wood smoker, and propane grill type of thing, combination thing. So I got I got a propane side regular gas grill, and then I've got next to that where I can put charcoal or my smoking chamber, and then below that I've got what's called a smoking box. So it's a 3-in-1 type of deal. So I could use it as a charcoal grill, which I do most of the time because I love cooking over charcoal. My wife prefers propane, so she does propane so it's quicker and easier. And then it also has a smoker box. I can put the charcoal and wood in there and let the smoke go through and smoke whatever's on the charcoal part of the grill. So that's what I have, what I use.
So you got like the premium setup, the best outcome for a good family meal. You could do everything at once.
Yeah, I mean, some of the cooking space can be a little bit small at times if I got a lot of stuff going on. But for our family and for what we got going on, yes, it helps out a lot with being able to do multiple things and it's very versatile with the stuff I can put on there and cook, and I can do a lot with it. So that's what I was looking for when I bought it. Something I can do a lot with.
Yeah, nice.
Matt had the truer kind of setup. I have a little bit of a bastardized version. So I know some people in the smoking community might not like what I have. So the first thing, I got a standard 4-burner grill with the one side burner, which I've literally never used.
Mhm.
And then I also have the electric smoker, which also, it uses wood chips in like a wood chip hopper in the bottom. So there's advantage to both. Like my setup is definitely better for ease of use and constant temperature. But in terms of getting that smoke flavor on there, you're going to want to go with an actual like wood burning or charcoal burning smoker like Matt has. Mine is more for like getting your toes in the water. And I've definitely been looking at like the bigger, truer smokers, because a lot of places that you go to that like really talk about barbecue, they're like, oh, like taste the meat, not the heat. It's like all that kind of stuff. Like, like using an electric smoker is kind of like a cheater's version, but I'm okay with that because my wife doesn't really like a really deep smoke flavor.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like a smoked flavor?
She likes it, but like she doesn't like the deep, dark, smoky crust. So she likes it to get a little bit of the smoke flavor. So I kind of have to go to like what I want and back down like 20%.
So she doesn't like the bark on some of the meats, then I guess.
She likes it, like if they do it like a really good rub, like a sugar or paprika kind of rub on it. It's not the bark, like where it's just thoroughly like a full on hickory smoke for a long time, especially with some of the other kind of cuts of meat. She's more in the line of, a light smoky flavor. And that's some of the stuff we can get to, like we can get to recipes that we can talk about, but how I adjust for Mrs. McWhiskey's flavor palette.
No, there have been many times where I wish I had electric smoker, and I almost bought one back in the wintertime, this past winter when they was on sale.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the ease and convenience of it.
Ease, convenience, and then consistency of smoke.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And they make, you're talking about the smoke flavor, which actually you might not want this because of your wife, but they make these things, you can buy them off of Amazon. It's like a tube, like a metal tube that you can put these wood pellets in, and you light one end of it, and it slowly goes to the other end, and it releases more smoke for you. I've heard a lot of people putting those in electric smokers to get more smoke from those.
I got it. Haven't used it yet. So I got the pellets ready to go one time. So whenever, I just want to say, Mrs. McWhiskey, you go to hell. I'm making what Daddy wants tonight. I'll bust that out.
Yeah, the electric smoker does have its advantages. There's many times where we have a baseball game or something like that on a Saturday, and I would love to be able in the morning just put the stuff in there, set it up, and then come home and have stuff ready to eat or something like that, without having to maintain it and sit back there all the time.
That's what I love about it. Like on a weekend, setting it up just to go for a couple hours while I'm mowing the yard, doing whatever. I don't have to watch it. I just pop my head over. Is there smoke coming out? Yep. All right. Nope. All right. Throw a little wood chips in. Go back in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the electric smoker, that's the type that I've had my eye on. Like whenever we think about going to get a smoker, it's always the electric type, and it seems like it's the easiest one. It sounds like it is too. So
yeah, if anything, it's going to keep the right temperature for you automatically.
Yeah,
the amount of smoke, monitoring that's something you can adjust. But the drawback, it ain't gonna taste as good. Again, it's like that 80-20 rule. Like it's gonna be 80% as good, but it's gonna be 50 times less the hassle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like less hassle.
Especially since you do so well with fire.
Yes.
Anything we can do to keep fire out of your hands is going to be a good thing here.
Yeah, it's very ironic that I'm hosting this. It's very I'm scared kind of, but it's something that whenever I'm doing my ghetto smoking, with putting the wood chips in aluminum foil and putting it on the grill, trying to get that little bit of flavor. You know, I'm always feeling like, you know, I really want to, you know, dive into the actual smoking, because when I used to work in a kitchen, we had huge smokers, and they were electric. So it was the type that, you know, you just put in the wood chips and you turn it on and you leave it there. We used to do ribs, like dozens and dozens of ribs at a time. And we would marinate them and then put them in there. They would get smoked, and then we would finish them off in the oven with, not the oven. It was marinated, smoked, and then they got sauce, like, finished off. And it was real good. And yeah, I've always wanted to get into it. And you guys, you make it seem easy.
I would say too, the one give and take of the electric smoker is its small profile. Like, I have a 30-inch electric smoker, so my smoker is about the size of a toddler. So it's not going to take up a bunch of real estate either. And like Matt said, like during the winter time, so you don't got to be out there stoking the fire, and it's going to maintain its temperature because it's insulated. That's a good thing. But you be in Florida, yeah, maybe you go big or go home. You know.
Yeah, the outside temperature for you guys, that matters a lot.
It can, in terms of getting things up to temperature and maintaining a temperature. Now, the one thing that once it gets there, because it's going to have an internal thermometer, it's going to read. Still do recommend getting a wireless thermometer so you can actually just kind of dangle one and then put one in the meat to make sure that your electric smoker is reading accurate. And the other thing that my boss at my work told me, and he showed me how to do it, it takes some packing blankets, like you would like moving blankets, and you can wrap that around the smoker and clamp it down to give it another layer of insulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So he smokes when it's like -20 out.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's too much. That might be a little too cold for me. The coldest I did was back at last Christmas. I had the bright idea to do a couple of turkeys for Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got lucky.
Don't talk about turkeys too much with Beardy.
Dude.
I got a little lucky because here, you know, Cincinnati was a pretty mild Christmas Eve, so I got lucky with getting those on there, getting them done. Didn't have too much of a problem, but man, God, that was good. Ooh, we can talk about that later too. Yeah, temperature can be a big thing on the outside. Last year, I remember I smoked a pork butt on, it seemed like the hottest day of the year in July, so that was kind of painful there doing that.
Yeah.
Pouring down rain. I've smoked in pouring down rain. God, cold. Yeah, it varies. Football season's just around the corner, so smoking wings, you know, will be becoming a big thing again, all that. And just, I don't know, just something about being out there in the fall and that nice cool weather and staying around a grill still, you know?
Oh, it's the best. And
it's so great.
When the smell hits you too,
Mm-hmm.
like everyone in the neighborhood just kind of looking over like, oh, it smells something good.
Yeah. People start to wander outside. Yeah.
The one thing I do want to get as sort of a starting point here is, and Matt can correct me if you don't think this is the right starting point. I say the best starting point is a good relationship with your local butcher.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you're just getting supermarket meat, it's fine. It will do the job, especially for like certain cuts, some wings. You know, if you're doing like pork shoulder, you can get decent out of that. But if you're getting to like your bigger cuts, like a brisket or something, you want to make sure you have a butcher that you can trust. Yeah.
I know we've got a local supermarket here. It's called Jungle Jim's International Market, and huge place to go. They got just about everything there food wise, and they deal with they get all their pork products from a place in Indiana. It's called Indiana Kitchen. And their pork products are so good. They're always been tender. They've always been lean. So I've never had an issue getting stuff from them for that. Steaks from them, like you said, go in there, you talk to the butcher, tell them what you're wanting to do, and they'll get you the right cut. They'll do what you need. Yeah, definitely get up conversation with the butcher and keep going back to them also.
Mm-hmm.
You get that relationship up with them for sure.
Yeah, I'm very, very supermarket. Whatever is there, I'll grab it. And, you know, I understand and I know about that importance with the butcher. But, you know, like I said, I'm very not experienced in this area. So I haven't really reached that level where I should be, you know, making friends and making the butcher cookies and all that stuff. So, but, you know, one day I will be, and, you know, it'll come to that time, I'm sure, because it's always something that we want to do. We want to get into doing more fancy stuff like that, more extravagant, you know, meals, and, you know, cause we do it at home, and it's just better than going out to a restaurant and getting it and paying like triple the price for it. So.
And that's where you need to look, you know, when you go to the grocery store, and even up here, the meat market's getting really, really good. So I'll go in, I'll grab some steaks from them and that. But if I want like a real restaurant style steak or something, or something good, I'm going to go to Jungle Jim's, or I'm going to go to the Meat Man and get something from them and look and see all the stuff and go through. I mean, a rack of ribs. I spent a half hour, 45 minutes one day looking for two nice racks of ribs to smoke. You know, something that had just amount right of fat and meat on it. Didn't look too dry, didn't look too bloody, and I was going through everything they had there. And he's like, "What are you looking for?" So I'm just looking for the best thing I can get. Like, what are you planning on doing? I said, "I just want to smoke them and eat them." She said, "Good Lord."
No,
sorry, you know. I know
that's a really good that's a super good point too, because like where I go to get my brisket, they have Wagyu beef, and they have a whole bunch of it just out on the shelf that you can go through, and it's from Snake River, which is a really famous like butcher in like Kansas, I think. And so you're able to go through, and normally when you order Wagyu, you order it and they bring it to your house, and whatever you get. But the place I go to, you can go and you can look at it, you can hold it in your hands, see what the right marbling is for you, and get what you want. And that's important. So like what Matt's saying, like going someplace where they have a whole bunch of stuff out and they'll let you go through it and look and not just get what you get is also very important, because at the end of the day, it's kind of your taste too. Like what Matt might like, I might not. I might like fattier. He might like leaner. And being able to go someplace where they will let you handle it and pick out what you want is super important.
Yeah, I think that's why I probably would never do like the Omaha Steaks online or Butcher Box or anything like that. It's because I want to see it. I want to see what I'm buying. I want to see that nice strip steak I'm getting. I want to see that ribeye that I'm getting. I want to check it out. I want to weigh it with my hand. I want to touch it. I want to feel it. I want to massage it. I want to. You know, this is meat we're talking about. This is a lifestyle change. You know.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a lifestyle, because it's something that you can't just, you know, put together and throw it in the oven and then, you know, come back to it in an hour and it's done. You know, it's one of those things where you have to give it a lot of attention, and I respect that and I like it, you know. And
the payback from that is when you go and you're cooking something, even something as simple as hamburgers, okay? And the payoff is when you get them off the grill and you serve them to your family, that like, man, this was a good hamburger, Dad. This is great. And it's the extra touches like toasting the bun, you know, just simple things like that add a little extra level, a little extra flavor to what you're doing in that. It makes it more of a professional type of thing going on. Seasoning it the right way, getting it just grilled the right way, and that, there's so much to everything that you can do there. It's lovely.
It's just the best. Like, whenever I cook something, very rarely when I'm taking my first bite, am I focusing on what I'm eating. I'm looking around the table and like, I'm watching eyes. Like, if they light up a little bit, I'm like, hell yeah, man, I did it. Like, that is the best feeling in the world. Like, I'm not even tasting for myself. I'm looking to see what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, my wife is not a huge fan of red meat. But, you know, when she goes in and she's cutting into a big old thick steak, I was like, all right, I did it right. I know this is good. She's even eating steak.
All right. So we talked about a few things. What is your go-to? Like if you had somebody coming over you wanted to impress, so you wanted to pull out the big guns, what is it that you're making?
I'm thinking pork shoulder, pork butt to make pulled pork, and smoked mac and cheese and cornbread. That'd probably be what I would feast on. I've done pork butt so many times now that it has turned out. I'm not bragging, but it's turned out so well each time that has been great. I have people that don't even use barbecue sauce on it because it's tasted. It's expensive.
Yeah,
I gotta say pork
that's
butt.
the best. I love me a good pork butt. We have, it's called benny. It's pork shoulder, the picnic pork. And, and what we do, it's oil, salt and pepper, and garlic. And it's just rubbed all over and thrown in the oven. And, it's just roasted like that. And that's basically, our, pulled pork for Hispanic Puerto Rican heritage, basically. So it's, that's the way we do our pulled pork. We don't go crazy with the smoke and all that stuff and smother it in sauce. It's just roasted in the oven, and, the skin is left on the top, and then it gets all crispy, and it's chicharron, the fried pork skin. So that's what it turns into, and that's like it goes with it, So that's
that kind of like having like a homemade pork rinds almost in
basic. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So it cooks along with.
Oh man.
It cooks with the shoulder, So it's like the shoulder is getting all the juices from the fat. And the fat turns into the pork rinds. So that's at least I could contribute to some good meal here. So, Beardy, what is your go-to?
My go-to is brisket. Same with Matt. Like, I've made my brisket so many times that I'm starting to, like, I will put up against most people's brisket. And my buddy at work is actually a barbecue judge, and he's told me, like, when I've brought in certain stuff, he's like, I don't like it. My brisket, he said he would give it a 9 out of 10. He's like, just off metrics alone, nice. It passes the snap test, it passes the flavor, and he was telling me all these things I didn't even know about it. He's like, oh yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 brisket. This is competition level. Because I've probably made about 10 to 15 briskets so far, and it's a lot of trial and error, and a lot of people are intimidated by it because it's a more expensive cut of meat.
I'm one of them.
Oh man, like it, and that's the thing too. Like one of the reasons I got a smoker is because I love brisket, but it's so expensive. If you go to a barbecue joint, it's gonna be like $12 for a pound or a half pound, and I have made enough briskets now that it's paid for my smoker probably
nice.
Like 5 times over.
What normal size do you normally get?
I usually get like a 13 to 15 pound full packer brisket, so I get the point and the flat on there.
Now, are you letting the butcher go ahead and trim that up for you, Nat, or are you doing it yourself?
I do it myself.
Do you? Yes. I've watched YouTube video after YouTube video on people doing brisket and that. I am scared to death to do one.
Most people are, and
mainly because of the time. It's a what, good 13, 14 hour cook.
See, and that's the thing. It can be, and so that's why I always thought watching all the YouTube videos and everything else. And I went to a brisket cooking class, and like this dude took the entire world I knew about brisket and flipped it upside down. You can get a brisket done, especially you, because you have the ability to adjust the temperature higher. He cooks it at like 300 degrees, which is unheard of in barbecue, and gets it done in 4 to 5 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah. Freaking nuts. And even the basics, like most people say, oh, cook it fat side up. He cooks it fat side down. So like everything I know is wrong.
Yeah, he just turned the world topsy-turvy there, saying all that stuff. Wow. I mean, I have a hard enough time when I do a pork butt because I'm usually up at 6 a.m. getting the grill fired up to temperature and that, and getting the pork butt rubbed up and seasoned and everything, and then putting it on, and because that's usually an 8-hour cook to do something like that.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Usually it takes me about 7-8 hours to do a pork butt.
Yeah. Well, yeah, everything is low and slow with smoking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it goes.
When I said 300, that is unheard of in like barbecue temperatures.
Yeah, normally you're talking 225, 250, maybe 275 for some things, but yeah, you're that whole low. And man, I would love to try your brisket sometime because I've seen pictures of it. And, oh my god, it looks so good.
I will send you the instructions and everything, and I'll walk you through this because I walked through with my buddy like last weekend, and that's the other thing is so many people are just intimidated by it, and every person I've walked through, like it was great. First time out, if anything, it's good. At best, it's great.
Oh, man. Yeah, I would love to do brisket someday, but man, I'm scared.
Yeah.
All right. So Matt, you mentioned smoked mac and cheese. I know Beardy just makes smoked mac and cheese in his sleep now. So
yeah.
So I'm very, very intrigued. So what is it? What goes into making smoked mac and cheese?
So I buy, a pound of elbow macaroni, and I get it al dente, and then I'll mix together I believe like 2 cups of shredded cheese, some cream. Mix that up together, maybe a little Parmesan mixed in there with it, and that gets it all nice and melting stuff. And then I'll mix the pasta and the cheese together in that, and I put it in a nice big tin pan. And then I put Mike's favorite thing on top of it, breadcrumbs. It was on top of the mixture there. Maybe a little more Parmesan cheese on top of that. Maybe a little extra shredded cheese I'll throw in there. And then I put it on the smoker for like the last hour or so of whatever I'm smoking. And I just let it sit on top there uncovered. And it gets a nice crust on the top of it. It bakes everything, puts everything together in that, gives it a nice crust on top. And it gives that real nice, light, smoky flavor also. And it's just so delicious. Oh my gosh. I love it. My family loves it. I love it. People I've talked to said, "Oh, this is great." Smoked mac and cheese is the shit to do now. So yeah, that's how I do it. I don't know what Smokey or what Smokey does. What Beardy does.
Smokey McCheesy.
Smokey.
So I'll tell you what. If you Google Mr. Food 4-cheese mac and cheese, ooh, that will give you kind of like my baseline. And that's what I did the first time. I followed it like to the letter of the law. And then after that, I made kind of some of my own personal adjustments, which I always say with any of these recipes, make it exactly like the recipe the first time and then start adjusting. Don't adjust right off the bat because it's like any science experiment. You're not going to be able to eliminate the variables until you have a baseline. So make your baseline. If you're going into it knowing it's not exactly what you want, go into it and understand that you're going to make your adjustments later. So very similar to Matt, using some extra sharp cheddar. I use Gouda and Parmesan, and then also I use the panko breadcrumbs because they're a little bit crunchier.
Yep, that's what I use.
Yeah. So see, we're on the same level. I bet like if you put like Matt's and I's like right next to each other, again, be really similar. I do make a roux with mine, which is a fancy, pretentious way of saying I mix flour and butter.
Yeah.
And then you put like milk in it. And then you just kind of cook it the same way like al dente pasta. You put everything in a big bowl with the cheese. I double the amount of cheese in the recipe, and I usually just go off of like whatever I can find, and whatever like I try to pick like extra sharp cheddar seems to be a good variable that seems consistent. And then you want kind of like a wild card cheese, your Gouda, maybe a white cheddar, like a lighter tasting cheese you can throw in there. I use Gruyere because I actually found it a shredded Gruyere at Aldi, and so I used that, and that was the best one. Was that Gruyere? So that might be something that I start getting blocks of that just to keep it consistent for now. If I can't get it shredded,
one thing I would like to try sometime. We were just talking about, the lighter cheese. I would like to try maybe putting like a habanero cheese in sometime, or a pepper jack in sometime, and see how that comes out. Just to give it a little bit of bite or something.
Yeah, because I'm always shooting for the middle. Like, what will my kids eat? What will I eat? And what will my folks eat? And it, like Matt said, I would prefer something with a little more bite to it. Mm-hmm. The one other thing that I do put a pound of bacon in there.
Yes.
Oh man.
And so I cook the bacon first, just because I'm really weird about like meat and temperature, which is why I have like wireless thermometers and all that stuff. I never go off a look. I always go off a temperature. But like I cook it first and then I throw that in with the mix and then smoke it. And then I reserve a little, or actually what I do with the mac and cheese, I put that on top because that makes it so you can actually control the distribution of your bacon consumption, which is the fattest thing I've ever said. You gotta control your bacon consumption.
You can't control me, man.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Oh man, it all sounds awesome. And while you guys were describing all the cheeses and all the melts and all that, and like in the back of my mind, I was like, this needs bacon, and you just you
and there it is.
Off. You topped it. So it all sounds good, amazing, and definitely the mac and cheese. That's one thing that it really makes me want to jump in on it, because that's like my weakness for many, many years of my life. I went without knowing what baked mac and cheese was. It's never something that I had until I met the wife and she made it. And now it's like one of my go-to sides. Like I need it on a regular basis, and just, knowing what smoke flavor is and knowing how it could incorporate so good into a mac and cheese, like that's something I want to try out. Gets me thinking, do you have for certain foods, I think I asked Beardy this before, but I'll ask, again, do you have certain flavors of chips that you use with certain foods?
Yeah. I know I like to use when I do pork products, I like to use, start with some apple and then go in and throw in some hickory or mesquite. Not as much on the mesquite or hickory, just I don't want it too strong, but I'll throw in that apple. Pecan, I like to use pecan wood for different things. When I'm doing chicken, I'll throw in some cherry and some apple, and then, maybe finish off with a piece of hickory or something like that. But yeah, I haven't really, tried. I just go to the store and say, oh, they got this wood chips on sale or this wood chunks. I buy the wood chunks. I just buy them. It's like, okay, this will work. And I haven't had a disaster yet from, doing something stupid like that. So that's been good, but yeah.
I mean, where can you go wrong with this? I mean, is there any error in picking the wrong flavor for something?
I guess, Beardy, you probably know more, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you use too much mesquite or too much hickory, you can really sour the taste of your food if you put too much smoke in it, too much hickory flavor, I think, kind of overpower it. So sometimes the lighter woods are better. You still get that smoke flavor, but not as strong.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. What Matt said, like if you're going pork or chicken, go with your lighter, your apple, your cherry. Go in darker, go with your hickory. Like your beef, like brisket, I do hickory like almost whole time, except, I wrap it at a certain point and there's no sense putting any more smoke on it because it's not going to get any more smoke flavor.
Correct.
So the apple or the cherry is going to be for like your lighter cuts of meat. If you want to kind of like shoot the middle, your mesquite is going to kind of go in between. That's going to be like most people will like that, but especially on like a lighter piece of meat, if you go hickory on there, you're going to taste all the smoke and none of the flavor.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good to find that balance.
Yeah.
All right. So we're nearing the end here. Do you guys have like any other, besides mac and cheese, any other recipes that you want to throw out there, something that you like to do, or anything of the sort that you'd like to close out with?
I know one thing that when I first bought my grill last year, what we started doing was we started buying corn on the cob and shucking the corn, and then taking an aluminum foil sheet, put the corn in there with 2 dabs of butter from stick butter in there, and put salt on it, wrap it up in aluminum foil, and put that on the grill and keep roasting on the grill like that. The corn comes out wonderfully buttered, wonderfully salted.
Nice.
It's perfect. It's so good. It's roasted corn, already buttered in it. Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And if I could just say one more thing, even though I'm afraid of doing brisket, don't be afraid of smoking meat, because it is absolutely worth it. It's not that bad. Start easy. Start small with like chicken thighs or chicken legs or something like that. Start smoking with that type of thing, and then move your way up. That's what I did. And I was like, man, this is easy. This is fun. This is great. It tastes wonderful. And just experiment. Just get simple stuff. Chicken wings, whatever, sausages. Put hot dogs on the damn smoke. Smoke hot dogs, Smoke a burger or something like that. Meatloaf, whatever.
All right.
Anything you make in the oven, you can take and put on the smoker and get a little extra flavor out.
So here's a question. If you really want to smoke and you don't have a smoker, that you need to get one. There's no cheap way throwing wood chips on the gas grill in a little smoke box. That's not the same, is it? You need the hardware first and foremost.
You can smoke on a regular propane grill. Some people take a chunk of wood and they'll go ahead and throw it on the burner or something like that, or throw it on top of the grate, so it starts to smolder and get a little smoke flavor there. Or you can do like what we talked earlier in the show, go to Amazon. It's called like Amazing Smoking or something. I don't know what Beardy has it. It's a tube or a tray or something like that. You put wood pellets in it, you light one end, and they'll give you a smoke flavor on your gas grill.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me the link. I'll throw the link in the show notes for that.
I'll get you a link.
So Beardy,
I'd say the same thing. Like Matt said, hit the nail on the head here. Start small. The best way you can start, sausages. Again, knowing your butcher. My butcher makes about 10 different sausages a day. So this weekend I went over to my folks and I had blue cheese sausages, cheddar onion sausages, and beer brats. I threw them in the smoker, threw them in at like 225. It takes about an hour. And then I toss them on the grill real quick right at the end, just to make sure they're right at temperature and they get a little crispness on the outside, because I like just a little bit of char there. And man, that's my new favorite thing is just the smoked sausages, because it takes so little time and it turns out so good. It's like restaurant quality shit, and you get it all ready for you, and it only takes an hour. The other thing, since football season's coming up, is the smoked chili cheese dip. Ugly as sin, but delicious.
You just made that, didn't you?
I just made it, and it's the easiest thing you can do. You get an 8x8 tinfoil pan, 1 brick of cream cheese, smear that on the bottom, 1 can of chili, just dump it in, and then you just sprinkle with cheese to taste. And you put it in for about an hour, 225, 250, doesn't matter. Does not matter. You just have to make sure it's hot, because you have to worry about cooking any meat. It's already pre-cooked. You could eat the chili out of the can if you wanted to. And so, and in terms of just flavor, you serve that with some carrots, some celery, some Tostito chips. It's going to be one of the best things you've had in a long time. If you want to do the pro level version, just make a pot of chili and throw that in there instead of doing the canned chili. It's like good, small, incremental steps to get you into smoking. Don't start on a pork shoulder. Don't start on a brisket. Just start on stuff you already cook, like Matt said. Like, you throw in the oven, throw in the smoker instead, and it's going to come out just better.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Absolutely.
I'm sold. I'll go get one. eventually, soon, maybe. I really do need to get on the ball because it needs to happen. And I think going electric would be the easiest bet for me. That's very up my alley, set it and forget it kind of thing. So I'll be looking into that. And, if you guys can send me whatever links you got for your hardware, what you got, and I'll throw that in the show notes too. And thank you guys very much. Would you like to pimp out again where you're from? I know Beardy, he doesn't have a podcast anymore. Matt, would you like to pimp out anything?
Yes, please listen to Bad Fodder Figures. Bad Fodder, Fodder Figures. Anywhere you get your favorite podcast, I believe. It's a fun little show that we do every week. And it's very enjoyable. A little bit of everything in there. It's not so much safe for work, so be careful listening with kids and stuff. Unless your kids are into that type of thing, then more power to them. But yeah, check us out. Lots of fun. And I miss Future Monkeys, but I can relate though to that. Just being done with stuff sometimes.
So yeah, I would like to also defer my plug to Bad Fodder Figures. That's two pimps for Bad Fodder Figures. I do listen every single week and was upset that this week there was not an episode. It's like Monday morning. That's what I do. No joke.
And that is my fault. I'm sorry because I went to Gatlinburg this past weekend and I did not feel like recording last night. So, yes, that's my fault.
How dare you? I will never understand that.
I apologize.
Yeah, Bad Fodder Figures. It's ever since Future Monkeys ended, I've been very, very laid back with my podcast listening. I'm not the person I used to be. I don't listen, like I used to, but, Bad Fodder Figures and about two others are my regulars that I listen to as they come out. So you guys, you're still up there.
Excellent. Thank you.
So thank you guys very much. And it was a fun show. Hope to have you on again in the future. I think maybe for Thanksgiving time, we'll talk again. I think that sounds like a good time.
Ooh, I like it.
All right. Until then, peace out.